boys from the mailbag on RSN Central.
Yes, it is time to preview tomorrow's Metropolitan action, and I don't think there's the plural version of the Midweek Masterclass here today. It's just Jack Dickens as I welcome you into the show. Good morning, Dicko.
G'day, Matty. How are you, man?
I'm well, thank you, mate. How's your Christmas?
Very, very good, man. Busy, but real grateful for lots of family and everyone's around. It's been good.
Have you just got the one young one?
Two.
So they kept you on your
so
toes?
2.5-year-old and a 6-month-old. So, busy. I don't get a lot of sleep, Matty, for the wrong reasons now.
Okay, right. I don't get a lot of sleep myself, Jack, so...
but you be on the circuit, ripping and tearing, so it's different.
No, I'm like an old man. I go to bed at about 8:30, mate, so... Yes.
I don't believe it.
You should. Hey, mate, we've got to have a look at tomorrow's meeting at Mornington. I know you're very busy at this time of the year, so we do appreciate your time, as always, and you are brought to us by the Mailbag Bloodstock. What do you make of the program at Bet365 Mornington tomorrow?
Mornington's a tricky track to bet at, to be honest with you. Like, it's not... Like, the turnover at Mornington would be less than, I'd say, like at a stand-down meeting, just as a rule, because it's a tricky track to win at, you know.
Yep.
It's a short, straight, and it's up a decent incline. Like, I don't know if you've ever been there, Matty, but it's pretty hard to run on because of that incline from the sort of home bend to the finishing post. But you can always find a progressive horse in the maiden and some of the lighter raced horses in the benchmark races at the back of the card, which is what we're going to do tomorrow.
So I guess from what you're telling me, it's generally a track then you'd like to see how it plays early on in the day before you start investing heavily in the afternoon?
Yeah, well, you want to really like the horse that's going to be worse in midfield. Which is, the horse we're going to back, the main bet we're going to have tomorrow, Matt, it could settle worse in midfield. It did last start, which was at Mornington. But I just think he's on the up, this horse, and he's better than these. So I'm happy to sort of take that risk.
All right, well, let's get into it then. Dicko, who is your best tomorrow at Mornington?
Race 7, number 11, Sniper Legend for Sads and Mickey D.
Mm-hmm.
Last start, this horse probably should have won, was buried sort of 3 or 4 back the fence and lost momentum at key stages. It was slow away at the beginning of the race as well and just knocked off by a horse that sat outside leader. There's no form yet out of that race, but I think this horse is reasonably progressive. Previously, under a different trainer who I'd never heard of up in New South Wales, the horse settled like lead and outside lead. So I think we're entitled. It's okay to anticipate a little bit more tempo, like speed and intent from our bet here, and maybe we settle a little bit closer tomorrow. So. That's our play, race 7, number 11, Sniper Legend for Sads and Mickey D.
So that's our play. 0416905052 if you'd like to get involved this morning. There are a few text messages already coming through, Dicko, so I'll get to those in a moment. Just on Sniper Legend then. So if early in the day they don't appear to be running on very much at all, would you still be as keen to back that horse later in the day? You're confident that it can still run over the top of him if the track's not playing favourably?
Well, I don't want to sound like I don't want to beat myself. I don't want to pump myself up here, but I've just taken 340 about 20 minutes ago and for like the service that we provide at the mailbag.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a great price. I think the horse is like a $2.50 chance. Now, the market has reacted to us betting, and it's now $2.60 at tab. I don't think it's going to start. I don't think if they're not running on, it'll get back out to sort of $3. But I think 340 is always going to be value. So that's why I've taken that price. Does that make sense, Matty?
Hey, mate, if you can move the market that much with one bet, you can pump your own tyres up, Dicko. I've got no issue with that at all. That's some move there, 340 into 270.
Yeah.
Sensational work,
mate. We took 340 about half an hour ago, and I've sent that to you as my bet for the day. But It is short now, isn't it? 260. So
it is, yeah.
I think 260 is still a fair price.
Okay. So and if it drifts tomorrow, get on again.
North of $3 is a great bet, regardless of how the track's playing, because this horse could settle outside the leader or lead.
Okay, so that's our play tomorrow. That's our best bet at Mornington. Race 7, number 11, Sniper Legend for Johnny Sadler. We're having the whole 200, our full stake on that at Bet365 Mornington tomorrow. 0416905052. Dicko, I'll get you a horse to follow in 2022 in a moment as well, because I know you identified on Thunderstruck earlier this year, which went on to be, well, I guess one of the most exciting horses in the country. But is there any other races on the card you're keen to invest in tomorrow at Mornington?
I'm not keen to invest yet, but I'm happy to sort of talk you through any of them. Race 1, Keppel Bay, I think's progressive, but this Place of Gold had two nice trials at Cranbourne. One Daniel Moore sat on him. The next trial, D Lane sat on him, and now young Ethan Brown rides. The horse looks to me to have a bit of tactical speed, which is a big tick for Mornington. I'll be interested to see what the market does between Keppel Bay and Place of Gold, but the market's got those two identified already, so I'm not prepared to bet at this stage.
Yeah, great. There was a question there suggesting or wanting to know your thoughts on Keppel Bay there in the first, so that does answer that question. There's also another question coming through here from Scott. It says, it's a day filled with plenty of favourites. Do you expect it to be a day for favourite backers?
No, I've sort of alluded to that at the start. It's a bit of a graveyard for punters, I reckon, Mornington. So you've got to really pick them apart. So I wouldn't be steaming into favourites all day, ever.
What's your favourite track to bet at, Jack?
Flemington.
Yep. Flemington
by a mile.
Yep. What about outside of the city?
So, well, if you count Sandowns outside the city there.
Not really. I was more referring to the country.
Sale, I love.
Okay, yep.
Bendigo, I love. Ballarat, I hate. And that's nothing to do with Ballarat or the people. It's just results at Ballarat aren't good, you know. Yep. So self-interest governs us all, Matty, as we know. So
absolutely. Chris from Terrelgan's text in. Dicko, your thoughts on race 5, number 9, barrier 3. It's been $4.40 into $3.30. So I'll just pull that up. Race 5, number 9. That is Here for a Good Time, to be ridden by Jordan Childs, trained by Peter Galagotis.
I've found that horse. I have it marked shorter than the market is currently. Yep. If he is from Terrelgan, that's not too far from the Galagotis' big operation there in Maui. This might be a sort of inside little tip for us here, Matty. I don't know. But I reckon the horse is definitely going to start favourite and is the likely winner of the race.
Yeah, I might jump on Riser and see if Chris is in the ownership. I get the feeling a lot of the text messages that come through asking about specific horses, Jack, are often from owners themselves looking for an added reason to invest. And when they've already had their bet, so there's no point. But
yeah, you've got the good price. Just tell Geordie from barrier 3 to use the good barrier and don't be too far back in run.
All right. Good push there for here for a good time. There's another text message coming through here. This one's from Tom. He wants to know what your thoughts are on Scott Brunton's runner there in race number 2 called the Poodle. Interesting that Scotty's bringing this maiden across. In fact, it had its last start at Terrelgan as well, Jack.
I find these sort of setups really confusing. Like, why is it here? He's a good trainer. He's like potent in Victoria too. So, but I can't justify backing the horse other than it's Scotty Brunton, which isn't the way I operate. But it does scare me enough to not want to bet in the race at this stage.
Drawn the pole as well. Froggy knew it to ride. He's an interesting runner.
Root's gone. Boland's just knocked over Root. He's got 4 for 5 of 2.4, Matty. This is outstanding for the Victorian.
And with that, I think Jack might be the test match. And my chances of seeing any cricket this afternoon are diminishing by the second. That's all over. 7 for 61. They lead by 21. I don't know whether Australia will be required to bat. I said that at the start of the show. I think the 21 runs might get the better of the Poms, and they won't be required. Australia won't be required to bat. That's it. That's the test match over there. Joe Root is gone.
Young Boland might take 5 for 5 and then get dropped.
Young Boland. Well, it happened last test match, didn't it? Jai Richardson took 5 wickets in the second innings last week, and I don't think he was dropped. He was rested after playing 1 test match. Which seems all the more bizarre, but they've got a lot of options, don't they, Jack?
Yeah, I think they insult our intelligence a little bit when they say they've rested these big quicks. Anyway.
Yes, very interesting. Scotty Bowl enjoying things there at the MCG. I wonder, he might. There's a problem. I hope it's not the case because we want to see him do well, but there might be a chance that it's his only test match in his career with Richardson and Neese are still there and Hazelwood to come back. He is 32. It might be his only test match, and he might take 5. Like you said, Jack, he might get that 5th wicket.
But I don't think we can't be feeling sorry for a young bloke who's just taken 5 for might take 5 for on the G on debut.
Exactly. No, you got that. You can.
Life's pretty good.
You can head to YouTube and watch the highlights for the rest of your life, can't you? It'll be pretty handy. Hey, is there anything else at Mornington tomorrow you wanted to touch on before I move off tomorrow's racing, Jack, or Or is that about it?
I thought race 3 was really tough. Race 4 was really tough. Very unlikely to bet. Race 5, the horse we mentioned, could be a bet for me. Race 6 pretty tough. Race 7 we've bet into, and like race 8, I didn't mind Fast and Deep, but I don't like horses off with like a big gap between runs. So his last start was 40 days ago, so I'd probably leave that race alone too. But if I had to bet, it'd be race 8, number 2, Fast and Deep.
Okay, and outside of being wary of the conditions there at Mornington tomorrow, have you got a punting lesson for us? Another one?
Oh, I didn't think of that. I think it's one of my number one rules. It is my number one rules. Never force it. So as we spoke about in race 1, I wanted to back Keppel Bay.
Yep.
You know, I'd look through the race and go, "Oh, this looks like a bet." I don't love that it's staying at 1,200. Sort of want to see it go up maybe to 1,300 or 1,400, which made me slow down a little bit. And then I go and check the trial of this Place of Gold. Geez, that's a pretty nice trial. It's pretty hard to draw any form references through that race, those trials yet, but it looks good.
Yep.
So instead of just going and making a decision, I'm not going to force it. I'll just let it go, probably.
Yep, that is good advice.
There's always another race. Never force it. There's always another race.
Do you have this is a little bit off topic, but there's no, I don't think any runner relevant for it tomorrow, but like if you're looking into a maiden race and there's a short price favourite that you think, on paper it just looks like it should be winning the race, but it's had, say, in excess of 10 starts, do you have any concern backing that horse when you know that it's failed to
massive,
salute? Yeah,
massive.
Even if it's everything on paper is telling you that it should be winning.
That horse. Yeah, because
Port Louis may be an example.
If it's had 10, yeah, so I avoided it because it's just had too many chances. And everything's about price, though, Matt. So if Port Louis went around at $2, then I would have had a big bet.
Yep.
And I would have lost. But at $1.60 or whatever it was, it's too short for me. You want to see horses that have had 2 or 3 opportunities and something's changed. So they're going from 1,200 to 1,400 this start. Senior rider gets on. They might have gone from 3 starts to being barriers 2, 3, and 1, and this starts barrier 10. You're seeing like a change in its setup, which might see it improve. That's just that little bit.
Yeah.
But if it's had 10 starts, say, and every other horse in that race has had 20 starts, then perhaps that's okay.
Yeah, that might tell you a bit about the rest of the field as well in that case.
Yeah, probably a Monday, and you're probably like Stony Creek.
Yeah,
so.
$1.20 for a non-winner. I think you could have that, Dicko. Hey, there's a minute before we've got to go to Healesville, so just quickly, I want to grab the horse that you think we should be following heading into 2022. I know you identified on Thunderstruck at the start of the year of 2021. Who should we be following this year?
Mark Eustace trained Marabi. Will win a group race, probably a Group 1 next year.
Oakley Plate?
Marabi. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. She looks pretty smart.
I love this horse.
Impressed with her win on the weekend?
The weight. Beautiful work. I love that Jamie Carr started to ride it. Perfect rider for it. Just like jumps, puts herself in races, competitive any track in Australia. Doesn't matter how the track's racing. She was going to be every chance. Love it.
Yep, I totally agree, mate. She looks a star. Hey, always a lot of fun, Dicko. Happy New Year. Hopefully we'll catch up with you next week for your look at whatever the meeting is on the Wednesday.
Will do. You too. Bye.
Good stuff. There we go. Jack Dickens previewing Mornington for us on the Midweek Masterclass. On the Midweek Masterclass. On the Midweek.